Hello children, welcome to physics class. The chapter is force and pressure. Let's begin today's topic electrostatic force with some simple questions. What is everything around us called? Whether it is ocean or biosphere, lithosphere, the universe. Whether it is universe, biosphere, lithosphere, ocean, all these made up of matter. Okay. Then let us try to define what is matter. Matter is anything that has mass and occupies space. Fine. If everything around us is matter, what about drinking straws, piece of paper, balloons, glass rod, graphite rod, silk cloth, wool, etc.? Yes, all these are matter. Why not? Look at these images. Small pieces of paper attracted to balloon, attracted to comb. Why? What is the reason? The balloon attracts some pieces of paper. Here, the comb attracts some pieces of paper. Just have another one. Here we find attraction and repulsion between two balloons. What is the cause for all this? In today's lesson, we shall try to find the reason or the physics behind these. At first, I would like to clarify the two terms, that is matter and substance. We know that matter is what? Matter is anything that occupies space and also having mass. Okay. If so, then what is substance? A particular kind of matter with uniform properties is called a substance. The common examples are drinking plastic straws, papers, and so on. At first, now we shall try to know by what does a substance consist of. A substance is a matter that contains only one type of atoms or molecules. The example what we have seen are drinking straws and piece of paper. Here in drinking straws, the are made out of polypropylene. That chemistry you will study in your higher classes. The molecule in it is C3H6 and N times. Okay, children, here C3H6, that C3H6 is the basic molecule, like that many constitute together that polypropylene we say. Here the drinking straw is made out of that, and then paper is made up of cellulose, whose molecular form is C6H10O5 N times. Just have are some basic units of that plastic substances. Okay, every solid, liquid, gas, and plasma is composed of neutral or ionized atoms. If so, then let us try to define what is an atom. An atom is the smallest unit of ordinary matter that forms a chemical element, whether it is solid or liquid or gas. Look at just that structure of an atom. Fundamentally, the atom consists of three fundamental particles, are neutron, proton, and electrons. Proton and neutron together, they constitute nucleus. Electrons are revolving around the nucleus. These we say fundamental particles of an atom. Okay, now let us try to define the components of an atom. The fundamental particles of an atom are electrons, protons, and neutrons. Electrons spread over the entire volume of the atom. They are mobiling one, and electrically negative. Very important thing is this: most electric phenomena are due to the transfer of electrons. Look at this images. This transfer of electron causes many electrical phenomena. Our today's lesson is mainly based on this effect only. Okay. Then proton. A proton is a subatomic particle with a positive charge and is found in the atomic nucleus. Neutron. A neutron is another subatomic particle with no net electrostatic charge and is present in the atomic nucleus. Then what is nucleus? The nucleus is small, dense region consisting of protons and neutrons at the center of an atom. Okay, children. Now, one more basic concept we have to know is charge. Okay, what does charge mean? Now we are very clear what protons are positively charged particle, neutron electrically neutral, and electrons are negative charged particle. And on the whole, nucleus, since the nucleus is made up of what? Proton and neutron, being proton positive in nature and neutron electrically neutral, hence the charge of nucleus is positive and the charge of electron is negative. If so, then the charge of an atom, since here the number of protons and the number of electrons are equal in number in an atom. Hence, the charge of an atom is found to be neutral. Okay, then what does charge mean? Electric charge is a physical entity. Entity means that existence, which is defined by excess or deficiency of electrons on a body. Okay, children, what causes that deficiency and electrons? It is because of this phenomenon, the transfer of electrons. When an electron is transferred from one atom to another, we find the loss and gaining between those two atoms. Hence, here now let us try to know once again, what does charge mean? Electric charge is a physical entity which is defined by excess or deficiency of electrons on a body. Just have a look on this image. The neutral conducting sphere. Now just here when we bring a negative charged one, and here because of that unlike they attract, now the negative charge move away from that, because of this is negative, this one. Okay, therefore this pushes the negative, and when it is removed, now again positive negative, they get neutralized. All these because of that movement of electrons. Once again, electric charge is a physical entity which is defined by excess or deficiency of electrons. If it is excess or deficiency, then we say what? Electric charge. Okay. Then what is a charged body mean? It is quite simple one. A body which possesses charge is called charged body. A body which possesses charge is called a charged body. Then, how is a charged body classified? The charge on a body may be either positive or negative, depending upon that nature of charge. A charged body may be classified as follows. Positively charged body. What does it mean? A body with more number of protons. Okay, children, when there will be more number of protons, if it loses electron, if a body loses electron, then number of protons will be more. Okay, hence a body with more number of protons is known as positively charged body. Okay, next, negatively charged body. Very simple, a body with more number of electrons. How becomes more? Because when it gains electrons from other atoms or elements, then we say more number of electrons. Hence, body with more number of electrons is known as negatively charged body. Okay, then uncharged body. Don't get confusion with this. This is not a third type of charged body. We have only two types of charged bodies, positive and negative. Then what is uncharged body or neutral? A body which is electrically neutral is called as an uncharged body. The term neutral does not refer to a third type of charge, but to the presence of positive and negative charges in equal amount. Just once again go through that: positive, negative, and uncharged. Okay. The next is this: how a body can be charged. Which are the three ways of charging? Let us now brief out. There are three ways to do it. To do it means charging a body. The first one is friction, second one conduction, and the third is induction. Okay, now let us try to know the meaning of charging of a body by friction or rubbing. When insulating materials are rubbed against each other, they may become electrically charged. This process is known as charging by friction. Just look at this image. When the neutral rag, old cloth like, rubbed by a PVC pipe, then here we find what? Transfer of electrons, so that now they become charged one. This is what we say charging by friction. Once again, when insulating materials like PVC are rubbed against each other, they may become electrically charged. This process is known as charging by friction. Electrons which are negatively charged may be rubbed off one material and onto the other. The material that gains electrons become negatively charged. The material that loses electrons is left with positive charge. Here, if that rag, that old cloth, if it loses, it becomes positively charged, and the PVC pipe, it becomes negatively charged one. Here, the main important fact to be studied in case of friction, charging by friction, greater affinity for electrons. Here, PVC, okay, it has greater affinity towards electron, therefore it becomes negatively charged. Then less effective for electrons will become what? Positive charge. So these are the two important effects in case of charging by friction. Now let us take the second, charging by conduction. This process involves the contact of charged object to a neutral object. Here already one body is charged. Then what happens here? Hence, when an uncharged conductor is brought in contact with charged conductor, charge is shared between the two conductors, and hence the uncharged conductor gets charged. During charging by conduction, both the objects acquire the same type of charge. Very important. That is the main difference between the previous process and this one. Okay, there we find two different types of charges, but here both the bodies acquire the same type of charge. Facts to be known, it is due to contact. Both acquire same charge and it is a permanent one. Have a look on this image. See that negative charged one. Okay, when it goes near or when the neutral, okay, is brought near to this negative charged one, so that negative charge is completely shared to the neutral one. So therefore, now this becomes a negative. Electrons transfer to the object, making it same charge. Just glance once, children. The third type of charging a body is charging by induction. When an uncharged object is placed very close to a charged conductor without touching, that is very important in case of induction. In case of conduction, it is by touching, contact. Here, it is without touching. The nearer end acquires charge opposite to the charge charged conductors, and the two bodies attract. This is called charging by induction. What are the main facts to be studied, known? no contact, opposite charge, temporary means mainly no electron transfer. Look at this image. Induction, negative charge, when it goes near, then that negative charges of, look at children here, this negative charge one, when it goes very closer, now what happens, this neutral, the negative charge, they go away, so that the positive charge, then we find attraction between these two. So here this charged one influences this, induces on this, so that this becomes positive charged one. So here electrons move within the object, making the closest side oppositely charged. Did you understand that one? Look at now. Here it is neutral. When this comes closer, the charges are moving. That means negative charge moving away. So that now this end becomes positive. When this goes away, it becomes neutral. So that's why we say what? Temporary. Is that clear, children? Now, therefore, now we are very clear about the basic concepts. What you know now, charge, then what causes charge, which are the ways of charging a body, the three ways. Okay. With this basic ideas, now let us look at some instances. What happens when a straw, the familiar to us, rubbed with a paper, is brought nearer to another straw? A straw rubbed with paper attracts another straw. Just even at home you can try. Okay, children, just you take a straw, rub with paper and bring those, what here, what happens when a straw rubbed with paper is brought nearer to another straw. You rub one straw and then rub with paper, and then you bring another straw closer to the rubbed one. Then what you find, a straw rubbed with paper attracts another straw. Why? This is the physics, the reason behind that we have to find out. Okay, one conclusion is this. What is that? Friction between the paper when we rub, okay, due to that friction between the paper and the straw, what that causes separation of charge, leaving one item positively, okay, from one, say for example from the paper, if the electrons are transferred to that straw, the straw attains what, negatively, it becomes negatively charged one, and the piece of paper becomes positive. That's what here, look at, friction between the paper and the straw caused a separation of charge, leaving one item positively charged and the other negatively charged. What happens when two straws are individually rubbed with separate sheets of paper? Got it? Okay, children, look at what happens when two straws are individually rubbed with separate sheets of paper and are brought near to each other. This simple activity you can conduct at home. Now look at the result. The straws repel each other. What is the cause? This is because both the objects are rubbed with the sheet of paper and they acquire charges, same charges. So they repel each other. Once again, children, when two straws are individually rubbed with the separate sheets of paper and are brought near to each other, they repel each other due to same charges. Very simple activity. You try at home. Now just look at this image. Let us take one more instance. What happens when a polythene rod, just a plastic rod like that, is rubbed with a dry cloth? The rod is said to have acquired electrostatic charge. Now here I am introducing one important new term. Electrostatic charge. What is the charge we know? Charge is a physical entity, okay, which is defined by the excess or deficiency of electrons. Then we have studied even positive and negative. Okay, here one more new term. What is electrostatic charge? Look at once again. What happens when a polythene rod is rubbed with a dry cloth? The rod is said to have acquired electrostatic charge after it has been rubbed with a dry cloth. What is electrostatic? The charge which is at rest, we say what? Electrostatic charge. Look at this image. When that polythene rod is rubbed with this dry cloth becomes positive. What does it mean? Electrons are transferred, the surface electrons are transferred to this polythene rod. Thus, the polythene rod acquires what? Positivity. Electrons are gained by rod, therefore, sorry, it becomes negative, not positivity, because it gains more electron. No. So look at that image. Okay, electrons are gained, thus polythene rod becomes a negative charged one, whereas here this dry cloth, due to the loss, look at here, atoms become positive as a result of losing electrons. Okay, now let us define this. What does electrostatic charge mean? Static electricity or an electrostatic charge is a deficiency or excess of electrons which occur on ungrounded, unearthed or insulating surfaces what which are at rest. That static means static charges, they do not move. So here look at what does electrostatic charge mean. Static electricity or electrostatic charge is deficiency. Look at children here. It is positive because of the deficiency. This is what negative because of what? Excess. This is what? But now these charges are static. They do not move on what? Insulating surfaces. What about cloth? Insulated one. Polythene rod, insulated one. Due to that friction, now we find that deficiency and excess. Okay, now we shall conclude. So far what we have learned based on those facts. Now let us try to state three laws of static charges. The first one is opposite charges attract each other. What is the evidence? When the straws individually rubbed, do you remember that one? And when they brought closer, they repel each other. What is the cause? Means like charges, they are therefore there when the straws individually rubbed and they brought due to like charges, they repel. That's what the second law. Like charges repel each other. If we bring two unlike charges, then we find what? Electrostatic attraction. That we say opposite charges attract each other. Then the third, okay, look at children once again. The first law says opposite charges attract each other, that is plus and minus. Just look at this image. Then like charges repel each other. The third is charged object. Charged object, if it is a charged one, then the charged objects attract neutral objects. What is the cause? Just you wait. Okay. Now let us try to define electrostatic force. What is that electrostatic force? Just now we have witnessed here. See this force of attraction between unlike charges. Force of repulsion between like charges. The force that is existing between the two charged body may be unlike or may be like. That force we say what? Electrostatic force. Hence, what do you mean by electrostatic force? The force exerted by a charged body on another charged or uncharged body. That force may be force of repulsion or force of attraction. Have a look on this image. Look at here, the like charges, they repel, unlike charge attract. Okay, just you see, unlike charges attract. When we bring this to like, just leave it. They repel, they attract. Okay, this is what we say electrostatic force. Electrostatic force is contact or non-contact force. If it is non-contact, why or how? Okay, here I have given clearly. Electrostatic force is a non-contact force. Why? Electrostatic force comes into play even when the bodies are not in contact. Just look at this image. This is charged one, neutral object. Okay, told to wait that how that neutral is attracted by the charge. Now I hope you can get clear idea. Look at children now. Electrostatic force is non-contact force. Here, this is the charged. Okay, when the charged is brought near its enough, immediately because of that positive, the positive charges are pushed away and negative charges come closer, they attract. So therefore here no contact at all. Hence we can conclude what? Look at this. Electrostatic force comes into play even when the bodies are not in contact. Hence no doubt at all, the electrostatic force is a non-contact force. One more effect of that static charges. Okay, children. In general, usually we will start the lesson by defining the branch of whatever the main branches. But here we shall conclude the lesson by defining what the important topic, that is electrostatics. What is electrostatics? Now you are very clear, charge and then types of charges. Even you know the meaning of what? Electrostatic charge. Okay, now we shall define what is electrostatics. Electrostatics is a branch of physics that studies electric charges at rest. Electric charges at rest only we say what? Static charges which do not move. In detail about electrostatics, you will study in your higher classes. Thank you, children.